Maine during NFL free agency. We're in the second day of the frenzy, and the Steelers still don't have a quarterback. Plenty of questions around. Now, they lost Justin Fields to the Jets here. Last year's main starter, Russell Wilson, still available. And then there's Aaron Rodgers. He's still walking around the chairs while the music is playing. We'll see who's left when the record stops as we continue the discussion here in the future of the future Hall of Fame quarterback. Senior NFL insider Adam Schefter joining us now alongside analyst Louis Riddick. Shefty, so they acquired DK Metcalf. Okay, that's their big signing, the Steelers. Who's going to throw him the ball? What's the latest you're hearing with the Steelers?
I think the Pittsburgh Steelers and their fans are just as curious as you and everybody else are, because they don't know right now who's going to be throwing the football. Look, they were in on Matthew Stafford. He opted to return to Los Angeles. They were in on Justin Fields. He opted to go to the New York Jets. They are now in on Aaron Rodgers, and everybody's waiting to see ultimately what Aaron Rodgers decides. Russell Wilson's even waiting in the wings. But Rodgers seems to be the first choice in Pittsburgh and in New York with the Giants. But Aaron Rodgers wants to process his decision, take his time, do the right thing. Hard to know exactly what he's thinking. Never fully know. Not going to speak for the man. But I think everybody's waiting to see what he decides, because I think he's got first dibs on where he wants to play next.
Yeah, Shefty just doesn't want Aaron to tell him to lose his number, so he doesn't want to speak too much about this.
I lost it. I don't have it.
You know what? It is. I've said all along, and I'll continue to say this until this is done or not done, that these two teams, this team and this player need one another. Pittsburgh needs to level up. They just do. I've been saying it all day. They need to level up at the quarterback position. They need to have somebody who can take this passing game to the next level, that Arthur Smith can work with, that they can create a more diverse, explosive passing attack that can win games for them in crucial moments. I think Aaron, the way he was trending at the end of last year, how he will be better in year two coming off his Achilles, I think you can project forward reasonably that for the next maybe 1 to 2 years, if he's committed to playing the game, he will be able to level up his game, and he will take this team to a different level. Okay, so he needs them. Why? Because Aaron needs to just focus on football at this point. Let's not be the GM. Let's not be the offensive coordinator. Let's not, decide who's going to be on the football. Just play the game. Have your career end the way you want it to end, which is on a high note. With a franchise like the Pittsburgh Steelers that are just revered throughout the NFL, and with a coach like Mike Tomlin, who's going to put you in situations that allow you to shine. Now, I think it just makes sense.
As this waits, a lot of people are saying, oh, could Minnesota be one of those places? Well, J.J. McCarthy's the last man standing in Minnesota after Sam Darnold, Nick Mullins, and Daniel Jones all signed elsewhere. So what's the plan here? J.J. McCarthy, of course, coming off that injury, top 15 pick in the draft a year ago. What's the situation in Minnesota?
The plan was to go with J.J. McCarthy as the starting quarterback before Daniel Jones went to the Indianapolis Colts. He was the former 10th overall pick last year. Look at all the success that all the rookie quarterbacks had last season. The Vikings believe in J.J. McCarthy. We just didn't get the chance to see him play in an NFL regular season game this year due to the fact that he had the meniscus injury in his knee that ended his season. But they are confident in him. He's put on 30 pounds, got his weight back up to 206 right now. He's ready for the opportunity. They believe in him. And I think the fact that they are as confident as they are in him softens the blow of losing Sam Darnold to Seattle and Daniel Jones to Indianapolis, because they believe in this young man. And they'll find a quarterback somewhere along the way, because that's a place that I think a lot of quarterbacks want to play, and you want to find the right guy that's going to push J.J. McCarthy, but not necessarily threaten J.J. McCarthy. And so they're going to be in the market for some type of number 2 quarterback, but they feel comfortable moving forward with J.J.
Backup quarterback, Kev, it's a top 30 position on a roster. Not just because of the quality of the person that you need, but the character of the person and how it fits with the starter. J.J. needs the right guy there. He doesn't need an Aaron Rodgers. Like this talk surrounding, well, maybe Aaron Rodgers should go there and let J.J. just sit another year. Like, what are you talking about? That just doesn't make any sense at all. This guy, I think the reason why there's so much controversy surrounding whether or not they should go for an established veteran that could actually push him or someone who could, really just back him up is because there were people who didn't really believe in J.J. when he came out in the first place. There were people who thought that he was overdrafted even at 10, which I find ridiculous. I think he is someone who has done everything, by all accounts, from everyone who I've talked to there, has done everything the right way from the first day he stepped into this building. I think he hits the ground running. This team has been fortified around him. The offensive line has been fortified around him. The defense is going to be solid. This kid is going to have a hell of a year. Just make sure that he's healthy and get him to week 1.
Okay, and the big storyline, of course, a year ago is the Vikings dealing with the injury to J.J. McCarthy. Sam Darnold comes in, and then you have Daniel Jones there as a potential backup. And Daniel Jones, I mentioned signing elsewhere this week, and that is the former Giant finalizing a one-year deal, $14 million with the Colts. He will compete with Anthony Richardson for the starting job. Now, the former first-round pick was released by the Giants last season. As I mentioned, ended up closing the year with the Vikings on that roster. This Jones deal, what's the thought process here? Because you have Anthony Richardson, the 4th overall pick just a few years ago, sitting right there.
Well, the Colts have made no secret of the fact that they were going to bring in competition for Anthony Richardson. And Daniel Jones was a player that they identified as being just the type of quarterback that they wanted to bring in and challenge Anthony Richardson. If we go back to last year, they benched Anthony Richardson for Joe Flacco before going back to Richardson. And now they've announced that they're bringing in competition. And I think when Daniel Jones was sifting through his opportunities, he had the chance to stay in Minnesota to try to challenge J.J. McCarthy, or to go to Indianapolis to try to challenge Anthony Richardson. And I think his decision speaks to the confidence level that each organization has in each particular quarterback. He felt that he had a better chance of unseating Anthony Richardson in Indianapolis than he would of beating out J.J. McCarthy in Minneapolis. So he takes the one-year, $14 million deal in Indianapolis. He will go there now, and they're paying him decent money.
Yep.
Backups, there aren't many backups in the NFL making $14 million.
Yeah, it's fight or flight time for Anthony Richardson. Because, if you're sitting there and you're assessing it, if you're him or if you're just a fan and you're looking at it, you're going, let's see. Obviously, Anthony Richardson's a better athlete. There aren't many athletes walking the face of the earth like him. But the offense doesn't have to change, whether it's him in there or Daniel Jones.
He's a mobile quarterback.
Exactly. Lots of design quarterback runs, RPOs. You can touch all the same parts of the field, although Anthony Richardson has a very unique cannon. But so if I'm Anthony Richardson and I'm assessing this, look, if the money alone wasn't enough to convince you that, hey, they're thinking that this guy may be able to beat you out, dude, then just from a matter of pride in the way that they treated you last year and what is following you around, which is people think you're a guy who's going to tap out. People think you're a guy because no one's ever done that before. So you're going to have to make a choice. You have to make a stand, or what are you going to do? You want to hit the transfer portal? You want to go somewhere else now? And see, he knows. Anthony Richardson and his representatives know I'm a big fan of his. I am interested to see this one probably more so, Kev, than any other quarterback situation in the league, because this is going to tell you something about Anthony. There's no way he should be beaten out for this job. Just on a man-for-man basis, in terms of what my skill level is and what your skill level is, he should win this job. But we know it doesn't always just come down to that.
Got to stay on the field.
That's right.
Got to be available to actually play, and he hasn't been able to do that the last couple of years in Shane Steichen's offense. All right, these guys aren't going anywhere. They're going to hang out with us as we continue this. He continues. Giants agreeing to a 3-year, $45 million deal with former Dolphin safety Javon Holland. The Giants had 5 INTs as a team last season, second fewest in the league. Defensive tackle Solomon Thomas coming home to Dallas to sign with the Cowboys. 2-year contract after 3 seasons with the Jets. Thomas is entering his 9th NFL season after being picked 3rd overall in 2017. And the Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles traded safety C.J. Gardner-Johnson, the Texans, for guard Kenyon Green. The team's also swapping late 2026 draft picks. Gardner-Johnson had 6 picks last season, tied for 3rd most in the NFL. When you win it all, teams, they want your players. CJ is one of several players the Eagles have lost off that Super Bowl winning defense that also includes Josh Sweat, who had 8 sacks in the regular